Hey, good evening, everybody. This is the City of Camilla Council meeting. We're here on the fourth floor here at City Hall. Today is Monday, December 13th, 2021. And at this time, I'd like to ask our City Clerk, Sheriff Ford, to call the roll, please.
Councilman Campbell.
Here.
Councilwoman Willingham.
Present.
Councilman Morgan.
Here.
Councilman Tweedy.
Here.
Councilman Pollard.
Here.
Councilman Palmer.
Here.
Thank you, Cheryl, and thank you, Council. At this time, I'd like to turn to our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman Twitty, to lead us in prayer, please.
We would bow our heads. Our Father, as we meet here in December, we realize that we have made it through another year, almost. And we want to thank you for that. It's been a tumultuous year, a year fraught with similar things that we fought last year with this pandemic, but you have brought us through, and we thank you for that. Praise your name for that. And for now, we ask that we thank you also for this day that you have given us, that we have had the opportunities that we've had to serve our customers, serve friends and neighbors, and now we take the opportunity to sit around the table and serve our community. We thank you for that opportunity, and we pray that you would be with us as we deliberate and make choices tonight for the betterment of our city. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Council, and thanks again, Councilman Twitty. Thank you, sir. All right, at this time, is there a motion to approve the agenda for tonight?
Second.
We have a motion that's properly second. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. At this time, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the November 8th, 2021 council meeting?
I made the motion.
We have a motion that's properly second. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. And at this time, we don't have, there are no speaker appearances for agenda items nor the non-agenda items. So at this time, we'll go straight to item 6 on our agenda, the action items, and for that, we'll turn it over to Councilman Morgan.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
We'll start with item A. On November 8th, 2021, the council conducted the first 2 readings of ordinance number 2021-12-13-1. The ordinance provides for the official name of the new splash park on Oakland Avenue. A 30-day window period was provided for citizen input and council consideration on the official name for the park. The second reading of the ordinance conducted tonight officially designates the name of the park to the Camilla Splash Park. The council recommends adoption of ordinance number 2021-12-13-1 and authorizes the mayor to sign. This is in the form of a motion.
We have a motion that's been properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Yes, sir.
I think the name Camilla Splash Park is certainly worthwhile, and it's certainly a step forward for us. We discussed at one time Oakland Street Park. Oakland Street has probably been a dividing line for the city of Camilla for years, and I think it's a great idea to name it the Camilla Splash Park to bring both districts together in one project. So I applaud the name Camilla Splash Park.
Appreciate it, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Any other comments? All right, we're ready to vote. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
So moving on to item B, the council reviewed and discussed a list of recommended appointees to the 2022 City of Camilla Boards and Commission. For consideration, the following are offered for appointment or reappointment. For our Planning Commission, We have Ms. Laura Van and Dorothy Hill, with terms ending both in December of 2025. For the library board, we have Councilwoman-elect Laura Beth Tucker, with term ending at the end of her elected term. For the regional commission, we have Councilman Palmer, term ending December of 2022. And for the non-public appointee, Mr. Nathaniel Keaton, with an appointment ending December of 2022. For the Historic Preservation Committee, Ginger Kimmel, with a term ending of December 2024. For the Mitchell County Recreation Board, we have Councilman Corey Morgan, with term ending December 2022. For the Development Authority of the City of Camilla, we have Eddie Toombs and Andrea Peoples, with terms ending December 2027. For the Tree Committee, we have Councilman Palmer, Martha Cabanis, Janice Smith, and Rad Yeager, with all terms ending December of 2022. For Zoning Appeals Board, we have Vic Warren, Tim Wade, and Danny Singleton, with all terms ending December of 2024. For the Animal Controls Appeal Board, we have Jenny Holton, Charles Strickland, Gustine Hayward, and Dan Jenkins, with terms ending December of 2024, and for Mr. Jenkins' term ending December of 2023. For the Camilla Mitchell County Land Bank, we have Barbara Reddick and Mayor Kelvin Owens, with terms ending December of 2023. And for our radio user board, we have both council member elects, Dwayne Burley and Laura Beth Tucker, with terms ending at the end of their elected terms. Council recommends approving the appointments and reappointments to the boards and commissions as presented. This is in the form of a motion.
Have a motion been properly second. Any discussion?
One, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
The council had asked if I would touch base with the Airport Advisory Committee, and the only vacant position not covered by the presentation by Councilmember Morgan is the vacancy in the Airport Advisory Committee. And speaking with members from the Airport Advisory Committee, their recommendation was for Ronald Hayes to be recommended for appointment. And they cited his interest in the airport and the fact that he's making an investment and has considerable interest in the airport.
All right. So council, just to, so I would ask Councilman Morgan to amend his motion to include Ronald Hayes as part of the airport board for consideration.
Okay. And I would just add this at the bottom because it's not listed, right?
That's right.
And so for the Airport Authority Board, we're adding Mr. Ronald Hayes. And term ending on what year?
There's no term. These are appointed until the council appoints a new member.
Okay.
Or until they resign.
Gotcha. Thank you. And so this is in the form of a motion with the added committee member.
Okay. All right. Is there a second? All right. We have a motion been properly second. Any other discussion?
No, other than, it was in our last council meeting that we discussed that we didn't think that was in the best interest to have two owners, at our airport advisory boards. Which would be Mr. Ronald Hayes, LTI, and the owner operation that we got listed as the, on paper, on file somewhere. Those two being a conflict of interest. We think it was too much on one board, on one company.
Sure. And I think what Councilman Pollard is discussing, I think Dusty was the other person. What I would say, and I think that the point is well taken, Councilman Pollard. What I would say that because we don't necessarily have anything that prohibits that, if you will, that if it's a consensus, obviously, of the majority of the council that both serve, then obviously that's what will happen. And again, Councilman Pollard's point is well taken. It was discussed last Monday, but there's nothing that I think that we have that prohibits it. Whereas in addition to the optics of it, if you will, but beyond that, I think that the appointment is appropriate, if you will, minus the optics. All right, thank you, sir. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
So item C, the council review resolution number 2021-12-13-1 declaring surplus property identified as 23 Street, along with a quitclaim deed conveying the property to the City of Camilla Development Authority. The City Council approved transfer of the property to the City of Camilla Development Authority to market and sell for economic development on June 14, 2021. The CDA has sold the property, and the City of Camilla is officially declaring the property surplus and transferring to the City of Camilla Development Authority. The council recommends approval to declare surplus and execution of a quitclaim deed with authorization for the mayor to sign all documents related to the property transfer transaction. This is in the form of a motion.
Second.
Have a motion that's properly second. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
And on to item D, but before we discuss it, Steve, do you mind starting here? I see we did have a replacement piece on our table.
Yes, I'll get Cheryl to explain the reason for the replacement.
We had a page in that resolution that just needs to be swapped out. When I asked for the information, they gave me the wrong page, so I didn't have my own documents from Monday's meeting.
Okay.
So nothing's changed. Y'all saw this on Monday night, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is what, Mr. Coleman, isn't this what you brought in Monday?
That's right.
The one that's on the
This is
table?
what you passed Monday, but, we had, that has the deviation to, if you remember, the document you had in there was incorrect. It was the old district, had a deviation over 4, so this is what you,
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
sorry.
So for item D, the council review information provided by Attorney Coleman for the 2020 census results and the city's election district map. After careful consideration and deliberation, the mayor and city council determined the districts as currently drawn meet the requirements of the United States Justice Department, and the districts as presented on the current election district map show a deviation of less than 2% for each district. The council recommends approval of resolution number 2021-12-13-2, reaffirming the existing election districts as shown as Exhibit A, that is now on our table and not attached to the resolution. So this is in the form of a motion.
I have a motion that's been properly second. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, the Exhibit A that Councilmember Morgan referred to that said everyone's seat is a part of this resolution, but there was discussion right before the meeting that it would be better to take those numbers in the exhibit and make them part of the resolution. And I think the best place would be in your section 2 where we describe the information. So if that could be added, if that's appropriate, if that could be added as a recommendation to include those actual numbers in the resolution itself.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. And the question, and I appreciate that, that I had for our city manager prior to this starting, just before the meeting started, just to check with our city attorney and with Cheryl to ensure that if we were to add the numbers directly into the resolution, specifically under section 2, would that be an issue? And according to our city attorney and to Cheryl, that wouldn't be a problem. But however, as I mentioned to the city manager, that prior to doing any of that, it was important that we got the consensus of the council, that was good to go.
I agree that it should be, included in the resolution as printed, before us, so that it may be, on record.
And which numbers exactly will we be adding? The population summary?
The
Deviation.
variances, the
Okay.
deviation.
Deviation.
Yeah, I think because they originally sent us the wrong numbers based off of the wrong district map, there was a little confusion, and so we had to replace that with the correct one. I think in the future, it'll be clear to refer back to the resolution with the right number.
And again, just to clarify, I'd like to add the populations for each district and include the deviation.
Yes.
All right, and I know that this is a small piece of housekeeping, but since we're on it, if you go down to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 whereas, where it says the districts are presently constituted show a deviation of less than 2% for each district. District 1, as you can see there, is actually at 2%. So I would recommend changing that language to constitute to show a deviation of 2% or less to actually match what's on the population summary. Is that okay with everybody?
Mayor, the appropriate, motion is to pass the resolution as amended.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Thank you, sir. So,
I make a motion to, pass this resolution number 2021-12-13-2 as recommended, amended.
That's a second.
all right. We have a motion to properly second. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thanks again, Mr. Chairman.
So item E, Mama Rita's 1 LLC, DBA Mama Rita's Mexican Kitchen has made application for an on-premises wine alcohol license. The business is located at 43 South Scott Street, and Police Chief Hendricks has performed required background checks and approved the application. The council recommends approval of the on-premises wine alcohol license for Mama Rita's Mexican Kitchen located at 43 South Scott Street. This is in the form of a motion.
I have a motion to properly second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council.
Item F, the council reviewed bids received on November the 18th, 2021 for a GDOT/FFA funded 80 by 60 corporate aircraft hangar. 2 qualified bids were received, one from Drummond Construction with the bid amount of $296,462. The second being from MVW Builders LLC with the bid amount of $298,107. The budget for the project is estimated at $250,000, and total construction costs, including design and construction inspection services, is $389,974. Funding for the project will consist of federal funds in the amount of $333,333 during construction and $50,976 from a non-primary entitlements funding reimbursable in 2022. The project cost for the city of Camilla is a total of $5,665. The council recommends awarding the bid to Drummond Construction of Hawkinsonville, Georgia, in the amount of $296,462 and authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents. And this is in the form of a motion. So,
I have a motion that's properly second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
in our last item, the council reviewed the 2022 meeting schedule. for work sessions and council meetings, and recommends approving the schedule of meeting dates and times as presented. And this is in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, it's properly second. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And those conclude the action items and discussion items for the night. Passing over to the city manager.
Councilman
Thank you, sir.
Moore. The city manager report has been provided to each of you, and I have included some requested information in the report, so let me just highlight that quickly. As far as follow-up information, a list of cemetery spaces that have been sold by the city between September the 8th and December the 6th have been included as part of your packet. You will see a total of 12 spaces have been sold, and the list of the owners and the location of those spaces. I've also included for you a list of City of Camilla vacant properties, the item that follows. And what I've done is I've listed these as either a City of Camilla property, a land bank property, or a development authority property. And this, again, is not a complete list of all property that the city owns, only a copy of properties that are vacant that the city owns. So if it's property the city owns that has a building on it, for example, you won't find it here. But this is an inventory of vacant property owned by the city of Camilla, the land bank, and the development authority. And I've also included, and would like to take just a moment to recognize our City of Camilla 2021 Employee Service Awards. And so I've included that document with your packet. And for 5 years of service, we're recognizing Wendy Barton in the police department, Reginald Mobley in the solid waste department, Chris Penny in the fire department, and John Thornton in the public works department, all completing 5 years of service. We also have 3 15-year service award recipients, and that would be fire department Eric Billink, customer service Dennis Cochran, Shane Stinson, fire department, and then Mr. Arthur Thomas in the gas department has completed his 20 years of service with the city. And then Mr. Johnny Crump, who is over our water department, has just completed his 25 years of service with the city. And so has Randy Poole, our airport manager. And then finally, we'd like to recognize Miss Valerie Barnes in customer service. She has been with the city of Camilla for 30 years and is in charge of helping us with our billing of all of our utilities accounts. So thank you all for allowing me to recognize these individuals with varying years of service with the city of Camilla. Also, I would like to just hit some highlights on the project updates, which are included, and just make sure you're aware that the splash park is nearing completion. The fencing is almost completed now, and at some point, probably at the January meeting, we need to talk about a schedule for a grand opening and which parts of the park we want to open. Possibly we will wait until the splash park can open in the springtime, but as far as the picnic pavilion and playground area, we may want to open that up sooner. We can't do anything with it until we take possession back from the contractor once all the work is completed. And again, Toombs Park Pavilion is completed and the playground equipment has been ordered, and we're expecting delivery in January. And once we have delivery of the playground equipment at Toombs, we'll be able to install it and then put the appropriate fencing around it. And then flipping over to the next page, I have included again a list of T-Splosh paving and sidewalk projects with a previous email to you all, and we're anticipating the contractor to begin both the T-Splosh and the LMIG projects that have been awarded by council. We're making great progress on the 2020 Community Development Block Grant Project. So if you're in the West Circle area, you see a lot of activity, a lot of sewer work that's going on, a lot of sidewalk work that's being repaired, and the final piece of that project will be resurfacing in West Circle. We're still working with 2 landowners to grant easements for the gateway signs. The design is ready. We will, as soon as we receive the easements in hand, then we'll go out for bid for those 2 signs. We'll try to bid both of them at the same time to get some economy of scale. And then, of course, your consideration of the corporate hangar tonight will allow us to give a notice to proceed to Drummond, and they've guaranteed 120 days from the notice to proceed to complete the hangar. Finally, on the last page, I've updated the COVID-19 report. City facilities continue to be partially open to serve the community. You will see that the last 3 weeks have relatively low numbers. For the last 2 weeks, there have been a total of 5 new positives in a week, which is less than 1 a day. And you will also see there are no new hospitalizations this past week, no new deaths. And the week prior, 1 hospitalization, no deaths. And so we're definitely enjoying a reprieve from the pandemic, but we would also like to continue to encourage people to be safe, get a vaccine if your doctor recommends it, and continue to protect yourself against the virus and others. And with that, that concludes the city manager report, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. City Manager. Any questions for the city manager? Okay. All right, so we'll move into the mayor announcements. Last week, one of our former assistant police chiefs, Mr. Melvin Perkins, passed away. And he had been with the city of Camilla for 40 years. And last week, I was with our police chief, our assistant police chief, and some of the other officers to attend his funeral. And this council was gracious enough to support a proclamation in his name. And I think, considering the 40 years that Mr. Perkins gave to this city, I think it's only appropriate to read that proclamation into the record tonight. So I will do that at this time. Proclamation. City of Camilla, Georgia, in honor of Melvin Perkins. Whereas City of Camilla law enforcement officers serve an essential role in protecting lives, liberty, and property for the citizens in our community. And whereas Mr. Melvin Perkins commenced his service with the City of Camilla, Georgia on August 6, 1966 as a police officer. And whereas 6 years later, Mr. Melvin Perkins was promoted to the rank of lieutenant on July 1st, 1972. And whereas Lieutenant Perkins continued progression through the ranks of the police department, and on March 4th, 1992, was promoted to Assistant Police Chief. And whereas Assistant Police Chief Perkins served the City of Camilla with dedication and distinction, and during his tenure in law enforcement, received accolades and letters of appreciation from the citizens he served. And whereas on June 21st, 2006, Assistant Police Chief Perkins retired from service after 40 years of loyal law enforcement service to the citizens of Camilla, Georgia. And whereas Mr. Melvin Perkins passed from this life on December 7th, 2021. Now therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor and council of the City of Camilla express their condolences to the family and friends of Mr. Melvin Perkins as they mourn the loss of their husband, father, and friend. And this was given on the 9th day of December, 2021. Council, thank you so much for allowing me to read that proclamation into our official record. our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman Twitty, mentioned during our opening prayer, it has been another tough year related to COVID and some other elements throughout our economy and obviously throughout our country. But here in Camilla, as you listened to earlier, our strategic plan and some of the elements that we told you that we would do, we put it to work, and we got a lot of that done. There's a lot more work to get done, but I think it's a testament to the leaders sitting around this table. I want to give thanks to our city manager, to our entire staff here in the city of Camilla, for even though this was a tough year, we still got a lot done. So congratulations to the entire staff and obviously to the elected leaders sitting around this table. And I would be remiss if I did take an opportunity at this time to congratulate our very own Councilman Corey Morgan, who this past weekend received his Master's of Public Administration, concentrating in public policy. And with that, Council, that is the mayor's announcement. And I would just like to tell the citizens of Camilla to enjoy your holidays, have a safe holiday season, and we wish you well. At this time, I believe our next item is to head into executive session to discuss a personnel matter. To the folks watching at home or on Facebook, the Facebook feed will end now, but it will restart when we come out of executive session. So at this time, I'll ask Parker to head up. But before I do that, before you hit the end button, Parker, I would like to ask if is there a motion to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter.
Motion. Sir.
Have a motion and properly second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, and we'll be back here in a little bit. Hey, good evening, everybody. We are back for the December 13th, 2021 council meeting. We just came out of executive session to discuss a personnel matter. No action was taken there. So at this time, is there any more business for the city of Camilla?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you, council. And thank you.